He's still piling on tons of poison, but here's the thing. This is why Aquas are so beautiful. The versatility. Do I go front door? Do I go back door? What's going on, Axie fam? Elijah here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the team that I've been using in this off-season phase with the new Origin patch in place. So we can see here that after Season 1 ended, I stopped playing and then fell off of a cliff due to decay. And then once the patch got released, we went sideways a little bit. I was playing a Tassels team that I started out with. I'll show that in a second. But ever since switching to my new comp, we've kind of just skyrocketed back up into the top 1,000 range, and it was a pretty easy climb to this position. So if you're just like losing right now and you're annoyed and you want to play a team to win with, you could probably go out and find something very similar in the marketplace for not too much money, and it should have some strength in the early to mid stages in the season, maybe even further, since we don't really know how everything is going to play out. And if nothing else, I just want to give you some ideas as to, maybe what you can piece together or start to experiment with before we head into Season 2. All right, so first let's talk about this Tassels team and why I've stepped away from it for the time being. As we can see on my progression, I was sort of just 50-50 in my wins and losses. And honestly, I was ending up in a bunch of games where I would just draw, which was super annoying because it would take a very long time. And then there would be no clear winner, which was super frustrating. So basically, the biggest issue is trying to figure out where the damage is gonna come from. Now, it's actually quite fun. You're fairly indestructible. You just spam shields throughout the game. And what I have here is a way for my backliner to, get rid of this watermelon with the D grade. It's a useless card, but I bought this Axie because it was cheap. And then I put Scotch Tape on Lotus and Silence Whisper. I already have Retain on Tiny Dino and Poppy. So I basically am thinning out my deck really nicely here. And I need to, think of ways to thin out this frontliner even more, because what you want to have, I think, at least in theory in the long run, is basically just drawing these cards in the late game so you can cycle over and over for the shield and the damage. So I'm not there yet. I had some wins, had some losses, but was just pretty bored with playing such a slow style without really having it refined yet. Also, Indian Star, I dabbled with it. I think it's really important to work that in somehow for this midliner to actually reflect damage. So if you're thinking about a Tassels build, those are my tips. Look for Indian Star, look for ways to banish your deck quickly. I have seen it work on, fairly decent comps. So not giving up on it yet, but probably gonna wait a little bit before I dive into it further and kind of see where we're at when Season 2 actually launches. All right, so let's move into the comp that I switched to right around here, which, has done very nicely for me thus far. And it is a curse comp. As you know, I played Aquas quite a lot during last season, especially, like I said, those mid stages. I'm hoping this season that they might make it more interesting for the rewards so that it's not maybe all entirely at the end and we have some incentives, kind of like what they did with the, October bonus. I think it was a Halloween bonus. It'd be great if we had milestones to compete for so that each stage is a little more important. Otherwise, people realize they can just wait until the very end to, buy and play whatever's most powerful. If that's the case, I do think there is a very nice place for this type of team throughout the arena season. And like I said, if for now you're just looking, to move into something that's gonna help you have more fun by winning, this has been very effective against, a lot of the teams that I'm seeing in the arena. So let's just break it down. First of all, if you haven't run into this yet, it's an absolute nightmare. The Inkling, the Sleepless, with the Paralyzing Jellyfish. So this charm has been reworked. It now shuffles one Jinx into your opponent's discard pile. Jinx is a curse card. What happens here is that it's doing damage to the backliner whenever they draw it. You deal 10 damage to their backline, and then plus 5 damage for each bad luck stack, and you're applying bad luck to the player when they draw this. So basically it compounds the damage over time, and the more Jinxes that they pull, the more damage that they take, and it becomes quite serious by the late game. You're actually blasting them away with Jinx damage, as opposed to before, I think it was a flat rate 15 damage at the end of their turn. This can get really disgusting. As you can see, it doesn't take a rocket scientist here to realize that this is a shit ton of curse cards. Inkling plus Jellyfish, they're getting 2 Jinxes when you play that. It stacks. Then you've got Sleepless over here for another one. You have Jinx 3 times so that you are completely screwing up your opponent's discard pile and their whole deck game plan if they don't have a way to properly deal with the curse cards. I've really enjoyed playing Last Wish. This gives my frontline Aqua, 40 bonus HP, and when it dies, I shield my other Axies, and I deal damage to all enemies in an amount that is equal to 10% of this Axie's max HP. So essentially, I do about 45 damage to all of his enemies. I shield myself for 40 shield across my midliner and backliner. Really cool and fun rune to play that actually feels very satisfying when it goes into effect and really can give you that mid-game boost to help pull out the win. For the runes on my midline and backline, we have a very classic Shady Exchange and Holy Prayer combination. Remember, Holy Prayer, quite different now. You don't get boosted from getting rid of curse cards like before with healing and damage boost, but you can remove 2 at a time, which is very important with, you know, curse cards flying around out there in the arena, things like Inkling and Jellyfish. Super effective. And what's nice is that no longer is it useless if you don't have any curse cards. You're actually gonna still get some nice benefits that all allied Axie's cards gain 10% bonus stats. So I'm loving Holy Prayer, and there are some variations of this. I think Spam was running something like this, but with a Dusk up front. Again, an Imposter Axie, which is what I think we're probably gonna see a lot of in the future. I think he was running Aquas. I can't exactly remember. I know it was a Holy Prayer team with a Dusk, and the reason why he was doing that is because with Dusks, let's just take a look. I don't really have any. I only have one, it looks like. And I think it belongs to Mino. But essentially, there's a really great rune here in Moonlight Thief. When your turn starts, steal 1 energy fragment. When your turn ends, this Axie heals HP equal 3 times your current energy fragments. Great for a frontline Axie potentially. It could be good other places too, but the whole point here is that with Aquas, you're ramping yourself up. So that's definitely something that you can consider if you can get a Dusk Imposter Aqua. For now, I'm going with Last Wish. The perch is kind of like my X Factor card. It can be insane in the later stages with tons of damage. My whole team isn't really centered around it though. I think there's other ways to do that where you're spreading damage more AoE style and working your way up to perch. That being said, it's super disgusting at times. I look to, you know, maybe play around with this more, and I also want to try out Tiny Fan in the future because I know that that has some serious punching power as well. And yeah, and that's basically the team. So you can see here my last page of games, basically no losses. I streamed a match last night. If you want to see how this bug team plays out, go to my lives and watch it. It's just the toward the end of the stream. It was only an hour long. Let's maybe just take a quick look at a match here against Poison, as Poison has resurfaced and is very strong, it seems so far. And this looks like a really standard version of it that he's playing. So yeah, I'm just gonna, you know, walk through kind of how this goes down. It's fairly straightforward. Right there, I go with the Risky Fish immediately to put some damage on the frontliner. It's just the maximum amount of damage I could have done that turn. And I retain the Sleepless because I want to make sure that I'm always using my cards that have the Paralyzed Jellyfish, as I need to flood his deck with curse cards. And as you can see here, Shady Exchange is so nice. It gives me 3 energy fragments at the start of each of my turn, which gets me up to that 15 extremely quickly, especially if this happens and I draw my Nemo early. I can cycle through all 3 Nemos, and we're gonna get to see that ramp up happen right here. So now, going to the backliner, gonna apply Vulnerable, gonna go in there with Inkling as well, really hitting his deck with those curse cards and also dropping him down to 300 HP already. And then we get rid of the Nemos, boom, boom, boom. That's 3 banished cards out of our deck. You can see here that Goldfish, even though I didn't play it there, it has some very nice synergy with this Imposter Dawn. And that Shoal Star is a card that is a skill and also gets retained. And then Goldfish, you gain 2 energy fragments if you have 1 skill card in your hand. So as long as I'm just kind of hanging on to that Shoal Star, which usually you are until you have lethal to use on an Axie with it, then I'm gonna get that energy fragment bonus. Here I'm already up to 15 stacks on my midliner, which is kind of scary in terms of the poison, but I think we're hanging on okay. And now I'm gonna go back again with the Lamb, 99 damage, pretty insane there. Lamb targets the weakest Axie, but you kind of want to use it when they're, you know, still higher on the HP, because the lower HP they get, the less damage it does. And as we can see, I'm putting a real hurting on this backline reptile here. I don't quite have enough yet to play the Shoal Star on it, so I go with the Goldfish up front, and we're up to 26 of 20 on our energy fragments. It's turn 6, round 3. We're already going into 4 energy turn next turn, and you can see the power of this, how quickly you can build that momentum up, and it's definitely something to be feared right now in the arena. We're gonna go ahead and tag the backliner. We'll get the kill here. I think I might play, let's see, do I go? Yeah, Shoal Star, we get rid of that. Backliner goes down, and then it's just gonna be focusing on the front. Yeah, I definitely wanna hit him with the big enemy damage there after applying vulnerable. He's still piling on tons of poison, but here's the thing. This is why Aquas are so beautiful. The versatility. Do I go front door? Do I go back door? The opponent constantly has to think about where I'm going to be attacking and where they should be shielding. And look, his Gila Axie is dead. He's got no real finishing blow damage, so he's gonna have to rely on tons of poison to take me out here, and I'm already slamming away on this frontliner. Just heaps of pressure. It's turn 9, I'm up 2-5 energy going into the next round. Absolutely insane. And this is what you can do with things like Tiny Fan and Perch, is then now this is where you have that, like, you know, later stage insane damage to finish Axies off. I don't know if we'll get to see the Perch damage here. Obviously, it's better if I play Perch when all 3 Axies are alive, which is why you might want to build, you know, a different style team that's more AoE focused so that the Perch can finish them off. But for the sake of it, looks like I do go with it here. 5 energy, 220 damage on the frontliner and 180 on the mid. That is absolutely ridiculous. So much power in that card. Even though he is getting close here, I mean, I'll be honest, this is still a close game. We're doing good, but look at my Axies. They're withering away, 97 HP on the midline. I'm needing to go backline now here. Looks like I tag the backline first with the vulnerable. You know, I know I don't need that much to kill the front. We take the Shoal Star. Now we're going on the backliner. I guess I can't get it done here this turn with the kill, and I definitely need to next turn because I'm going to die otherwise. Luckily, the Jinxes come into play. He gets tons of damage on him. He doesn't have any way to deal damage to me. I wish we could like slow-mo replay that. He had no plays. He took tons of damage from the bad luck, from the Jinx. He's down to 53 HP, and he let it go. So pretty cool match there. You kind of got to see all facets of the team. The Jinx coming in clutch at the end. It completely destroys your opponent's draw if they don't have a way to remove curse cards. Yeah, I actually don't really run into this team that much in the arena. Maybe I'll see it, you know, the higher up I climb. I do run into like curse Aquas, but very rarely is the imposter Dawn in there. And that was just something I kind of threw together. I bought these for very cheap. I think right now the prices have gone up. If I look at my Imposter Dawn, this was kind of before I think people started to catch on. So yeah, I only paid like 18 bucks for this Dawn. I think my Aqua here was 10 bucks or so. And I'm not really sure that the prices are gonna be the same now. So don't spend too much because it's still preseason and things are gonna change for sure. But if you can find some affordable deals, and the cool thing is you can switch around some of these parts. So it's not like they have to be exactly in this order. Maybe you find a Dawn that has Garrow on the eyes and then your midline Aqua has Sleepless. So if you can shift some of these parts around to make it cheaper, I'd highly recommend trying to do that in the marketplace. But yeah, having fun, winning a bunch of games, pretty straightforward concept on how to play it. I will say final thoughts are that I'm very excited to see this develop more and for these builds to tech at the highest level and to, you know, hopefully see high level strategic gameplay in, you know, your own execution. My problem with the patch is that I still don't really see how this adds anything to outplay potential, which is something that we've all been missing. But maybe as Origins develops, we find other ways to work that in. For now, it's still a deck builder. It's still you needing to master your team, and there's still, you know, a lot that's involved in all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment. Let me know what else you want to see before we head into Season 2, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.